Hi, my name's Andrew Turnbull from assassinfishing.com. What I want to do today is just show you how to rig a soft plastic on a jig head. A lot of people are asking me, Andrew, how do I go about putting my soft plastics on jig heads? And when do you use a soft plastic jig head? Well, usually I use a soft plastic jig head for 99.9% of all my fishing with soft plastics. And the way that we rig them, what I've grabbed here is just a 3/8 jig head, and I don't know whether you can see that, but it actually tells you what size jig head it is on the head of the head of the jig head there. So what I want to do is I just want to show you very quickly. This is an Assassin Fishing raindrop, extremely effective lure on a lot of different types of fish, and I carry a lot of them around in my tackle bag, and they just seem to work so well on all types of fish like snapper, tuna. You can rip them back for tailor, you know, any of your big pelagics, kingfish go for them. Drop them down the bottom, give them a flick off the bottom, and any of your reef type fish will go for them. But picking your jig head is extremely important. What you want to do is make your lure look as natural as possible in the water. You don't want your jig head too heavy so the lure just sits on the bottom like a rock and doesn't move around in the current. So I'm using a 3/8 jig head, which is pretty much the biggest size that I would usually go to when I'm fishing offshore. That's good for about 25 feet of water, but 90% of my fishing is done with a 1/4 ounce jig head, and they're perfect for your smaller 3-inch type lures all the way up to this size, which is your 4-inch. Now to rig one, all I do is I look at the back of the lure, and you can tell the difference between the back and the bottom, the belly flaps. And the reason that the lures have got belly flaps is so you can rig what they call a Texas style rig, which I can show you how to do as well. But the easiest, most simple rig, and the one that I use all the time, is I hold my lure up, I get my jig head on the side of the back, dead straight back, and I put the jig head, I'll make a hole, and I put it dead center in the middle of the head of the jig head of the plastic, and I start pushing it in, and I run it straight down the back. Just like that. And then what I want to do is I want to pull the hook out through the back of the plastic, and then I want to push the head of the plastic up tight on the jig head so the lure is sitting pretty much dead straight. Now the reason for that is you want your lure, when you cast it out and you rip it back really, really fast, you want it to swim dead straight. If it's not sitting dead straight and it's twisting around in the water and it's flicking around and it's doing anything but coming back dead straight, just adjust it again. And you can do that by maybe repositioning it. I usually pull it off, pull the jig head back through where it came through, and just reposition it up a little bit further, and then push it back onto the jig head. And there, usually that's about right. It gives the lure a lot of room to wiggle around. So what I'll do is I'll take this off and I'll show you what it looks like on a bigger plastic. This here's the Assassin Bloodsport. Extremely effective lure on all types of species of fish, especially your big predators. It's red, and if you know anything about fish and the way that they see, fish see in a very broad spectrum of ultraviolet light. Actually 400 times better than our own spectrum of ultraviolet light. So the plastics in the water actually look different to the way that we see them here. And we spent a lot of time researching this, and we've put that research into the lure production. So this is a 6-inch plastic, same deal. I'm going to run that jig head straight down the back. I'm going to pull it out the back to where I think the lure is going to be sitting the best. I'm going to push it up nice and tight on the jig head, and now I've got a 6-inch plastic ready to go. What I might just show you quickly is how you tie it onto your rod. So I'm going to grab my usual plastics rod here. I've got one already attached. You know, that's your 3-inch style and a 1/4 ounce jig head, rigged perfectly on the back. You know, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it off, and I'm going to show you how we rig one up, and it's really simple. It's a bit windy today, couldn't get out on the boat, and I thought I'd just do a quick video so people can see actually how you attach them. Now I run usually about a metre, metre and a half of leader. Now you can change the size of your leader line, attach it to braid. Now I run 20-pound braid, and that gives me the opportunity to stop bigger fish if I get them, but I can also catch smaller fish on 20-pound braid. So I've matched it up with a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. My preference usually is the FC100. It's good stuff. Fluorocarbon pretty much disappears in the water. It absorbs light and fish can't see it. So to rig one up, is all I do, there's a little hole at the top of the jig head, which is your hook hole. I want to put the leader line straight through that and pull it out so you've got maybe 4 or 5 centimeters at the other end. And as all I do is I twist it around about 5 or 6 times. I wet the line because it stops abrasion, and you know, when you pull your line tight, it stops it heating up too much and you know, creating abrasion on that line. Now, I don't know whether you can see that, but there's a loop that's been created on the line in between the hole that I've got my jig head on, the hook hole, and the leader line. There should be a little loop that twist has created. What I want to do is I want to put my tag line through the loop, bring it out the other side. I usually pinch it hard up against my jig head, and I'll pull the main line down. And see that pulling tight? And it should slip right down onto my jig head, and I pull that down nice and tight. And now I've got my soft plastic rigged and ready to rock. Always do a test cast after you've rigged your plastic. Rip it back through the water up to the side of the boat or up to the rocks and make sure it's swimming dead straight, not twisting around. If it is twisting around, just reposition it a little bit better on your jig head so it's nice and straight. You should be ready to catch a fish. Jump onto assassinfishing.com. I'll put videos like this up from time to time. Create yourself a profile that's free. You can even log on with your Facebook profile. Check out all the blogs and tips, and we'll be throwing some more videos up from time to time. Catch you soon.